The prosecution believes a big reason Griffith entered a guilty plea is because of the new charge of criminal solicitation. Again, that's where Griffith is accused of asking another inmate to shoot the lead detective on the case. Trooper Jay Thomas tells me just because there's been an arrest doesn't mean the investigation is over. KSP pulled into the Callaway County Jail with Pascasio Pacheco Arellano just after 2:30 today. Went back over here near Youngblood's RV where most of the damage is. They're using a special sonar near the dam, but haven't found anything yet. Right here, the speed limit will change back down to 55 because of the busy area. It's also about taking a look at the latest gadgets in quilting, like this sewing machine. With a touchscreen, it probably doesn't look like the one your grandmother used to have. The way it works is you get a certain amount of points for the first dog that barks on the trail of a raccoon. Now they're choosing to move back, buy the land, and add an additional 2,500 square feet for other businesses to rent. Now a sewer line from a home and a pipe from a storm drain are separate instead of combining together. These changes go hand in hand with EPA requirements, a main reason for possible rate changes. Through heavy brush piles full of thorns, Wilkins says the 7-year-old girl walked through this thick wooded area in complete darkness to try to find some help. It's described through social comparison theory, which means we base our worth on how we stack up against others. So if someone is already inflating their Facebook post, the divide between how I feel and how I think they're doing will be much bigger than our situations may be in real life.
Definition.
Good morning, I'm Juliana Valencia. Looking at what's new this morning, we're hearing different reports about a deadly car bombing in Baghdad. A California man is in jail this morning after a 6-hour standoff with police. A worker at the Paducah International Raceway had to be airlifted to Vanderbilt last night after he was hit by a race car. We first told you about the story last night at 10, but we've learned new information overnight. Breaking news out of Minnesota as investigators say they want to speak to a California doctor and his son about a prescription drug the son brought for Prince at the time of his death. Presidential candidate Donald Trump said he can unify the Republican Party, but there's a split between those who back him and those refusing to support Trump. A Fort Bragg soldier has been arrested and charged with the rape and kidnapping of another soldier. Good morning, I'm Juliana Valencia.
And I'm Weather Authority Tori Shaw.
And Tori, tell us about the weather and your lack of movie watching.
She's been giving me such a hard time since I've never seen the Notebook movie. I'm sorry.
Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders was in Bowling Green yesterday. He says he has high hopes for Tuesday's Democratic primary in Kentucky, despite what people may have said in the beginning. New at midday, one man was arrested and another cut with a knife after a fight early Saturday morning.
All right, well, welcome back. It's time for our Hooked on Science experiment with Jason Lindsay and this air thing and our special guest. This is not sword fighting time. This is science time.
Happening next, volunteers have been stepping up all week after an EF3 tornado touched down in Mayfield on Tuesday. A new study shows gender stereotyping may start as young as 3 months old and affect your baby's well-being, as he dropped the mic saying Obama out. Police say Weiser was walking back to her dorm when she was killed. A 17-year-old homeless teen has been arrested and charged with her murder. A Canadian athlete has won gold at the Arctic Winter Games in the sport of knuckle hop.
What?
Knuckle hop.
Knuckle hop. All right. Well, apparently, it's a. Is it like?
I don't think it's fist bumps, but.
We just knuckle hopped.
Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau toured wildfire-ravaged Fort McMurray yesterday. He said significant federal money will be directed to help with rebuilding efforts. A levee in Alexander County breached on New Year's Day, creating about a mile-long hole that still hasn't been filled. And this weekend we definitely had beautiful weather.
We did. Nothing like that.
No, it wasn't. It was nice
chasers.
and sunny. He called Cruz a principled conservative who's shown the courage of his convictions. Cruz says he happily welcomes Pence's support. Meanwhile, Trump is warning Republican power brokers that he will beat Hillary Clinton with or without them. The weather may have been a factor in a charter bus crash that killed 8 people and injured 44 others in South Texas. Firefighters in Canada are still in a desperate battle against a raging wildfire that is nearly a week old.
I mean, it's amazing that he survived.
A miracle. I mean, Gus Winfrey survived this because he wasn't inside the home, and he actually managed to save an elderly couple next door as he was escaping that tornado.
I didn't think I was going to make it.
Gus Winfrey held onto this tree as a tornado flew over him in Mayfield. His house gone, pieces of it wrapped around his neighbor's tree.
I was not expecting that.
He saw the tornado coming and knew he had to find cover outside of his home, letting his elderly neighbors next door who used to live here know.
I beat on their door and I told them, I said, y'all got to get out. There's a tornado right there.
That couple hid behind this truck, which is untouched, while the house next door is gone.
This stuff here you can rebuild. It don't happen overnight, but you can't rebuild lives, and we got lucky.
Winfrey tells me the older couple went to the hospital, but they're okay, and he's feeling lucky too because this home is covered by insurance, which isn't the same story for several people on this street. Now, during the tornado, other people also lost their pets. If we look at this video here, it's of a family looking for their dog Daisy. Now, get this, a couple hours later, we caught up with them again, and they found Daisy safe and alive. And Jennifer, it's a similar situation for the Winfreys here because they had several pets in their home and they found them all alive across the street amidst the rubble. In a small Illinois county like Alexander, flood damage is a big concern to community members like Jennifer Cordy.
It doesn't have the resources that other counties upstate would have.
Her home was never damaged, protected by this man-made levee, but worries the cleanup costs of others won't be enough to qualify for FEMA aid.
This county is sitting here with devastation, pure devastation, and no way to fix it, no way to rebuild the pieces.
There's not a lot we can do.
Alexander County Board Chair Chalon Tatum says there's a 3/4 of a mile tear in the Len Small levee that needs fixing before spring showers.
We're on the disaster list, but the state said they have no money.
Governor Bruce Rauner visited the county earlier this month. He says not having a state budget isn't the reason for not being able to help.
We've never had very much in the way of specific funds to put for natural disasters. We've just never had as a state, with or without a budget.
If the state doesn't add up $18 million in flood damage to qualify for federal funding for Alexander County, Tatum says then it'll just be up to neighbors to help each other.
It's uplifting to see people that care.
A nearby Christian group is helping clean out Paula Kirby's home.
They'd be ripping out the paneling and the insulation, you know, all that water damage.
Kirby wishes she could have been able to move before another flood. She's still waiting on a FEMA buyout from flooding in 2011.
Season is here, and it can be a bit stressful, from paying for it all to just landing a date. But in the end, lasting memories are made, and as Local 6's Juliana Valencia shows us, one promposal means even more to a McCracken County student. It's a moment a lot of teens dream about, getting the chance to dress up for that one special night. Adam Stanley is a freshman who's already going to prom. His mom, Lana Dockery, helps him with the final touches.
His date asked me if it would be okay, and I wasn't, sure she was serious at first, but she said, I'm serious.
Adam has Down syndrome. In another room, 11th grader Alexis Courtney gets ready for her date.
He's just goofy. He's always happy. And even when he's not happy, when I walk in the room, he usually always smiles.
She's nervous.
I was hoping he didn't want to change his mind about going to prom with me.
But excited.
I think it'll be fun.
For that moment when she pulls up to her date. She's asked Adam to go with her.
Cute.
Alexis is in a peer tutoring program at school with him. And the two can't contain their excitement about going together. With Adam's mom being able to capture that memory of the two before their enchanted evening. In Paducah, Juliana Valencia, WPSD Local 6. Well, if you are wondering how their prom went, they sent us pictures. Take a look. Oh, they look great. I love it. Alexis and Adam say they had a great time, as you can see.